We're gonna continue with the program. For those of you who just joined us, I'm Adi Ignatius, editor of the Harvard Business Review, and I'm joined by Clay Christensen. Yes, that Clay Christensen, the winner of the 2010 First Place McKinsey Award. You've been critical of capitalism. You've been critical of, I think, business school teaching or academic teaching, or that our values are about short-term growth, not building sort of long-term value. Can you talk about that, Sam?
Yeah, great question. And I don't know whether my answers are cogent or not, but I've been thinking about this. As I think that in America, over the last 30 years or so, there has emerged a definition of profitability that, and I don't know how to say this right, but it's almost like there's a cocoon, and people inside the cocoon are finance people. And it's inside, it's almost like they have a religion of their own with a catechism of how to define profitability. And their rules of profitability are all ratios. So it's percentage gross margin, it's internal rate of return, IRR, it's RONA, it's EVA. And describing profitability in ratios allows you to do some interesting things. So you can compare this fund versus that fund by standardized things and so on. But the downside of it is IRR, for example. The internal rate of return goes out the roof if you pull in the lead time to exit. And if you invest for a longer term, the IRR gets killed. And so there are a lot of funds that measure their performance by IRR. And that means they cannot invest for something that comes due in longer than 3 years out. There's another one, RONA, because if you think that you can improve profitability with RONA, what that means is you want to get assets off the balance sheet, which then causes you to outsource. And you measure profitability by the robustness of the balance sheet. So I had a conversation with a very knowledgeable and aggressive executive in China. And I said, why is it that the Americans want to get the assets off their balance sheet and they'll outsource it to you guys, and this guy, to build a new factory, cost a couple $2 billion. Why is it that you're quite willing to put $2 billion on your balance sheet? And it's not that we're smart and they're dumb, or we're aggressive, we have higher returns on investment. You know, that can't be right. And he said, no, you're correct. He said, you guys measure profitability on the balance sheet. I measure my profitability on the income statement. And somebody needs to tell the Americans that there are not any banks that accept deposits denominated in percentages. And he said, the way we measure profitability is tons of money. And I think it's really true that the way you measure profitability truly causes you to make investments in very different ways. And I think that a big reason why we can't create jobs is that we think by economizing the use of capital that this is profitability. And it is for the capitalists, but it's not for the system.